All right. Okay, everyone. Thank you for coming out this evening. I would like to go ahead and get started. We've got a few guests with us this evening. You can see Carl Ivy up in the corner right now. But what I'd like to do to get started is to share a little bit about, to let this video kind of explain itself about what the E60 challenge is. And I'm going to go ahead and play the video. It's a few minutes long, and we'll move into letting our guests speak about their Thrive experience shortly after that.
The Thrive E60 Challenge is a 60-day premium lifestyle plan to help individuals experience and reach peak physical and mental levels. You're going to live, look, and feel premium like never before. Simply set a goal of what you'd like to accomplish physically with the challenge. Then commit to the Thrive Challenge and yourself for 60 days. Whether your goal is to lose weight, get in the best shape of your life, or simply thrive to your full potential, the Thrive E60-Day Challenge was created to get you thriving in all areas of your life. The challenge is comprised of 3 nutritional powerhouse products that work synergistically together. This 3-step formula is designed to fill in nutritional gaps and deficiencies. No matter how good we try to eat, we all have nutritional flaws to some degree. Because it's utterly impossible to eat perfect every day and give the body exactly what it needs nutritionally. Not to mention our microwave fast food society doesn't exactly give us the best options. That's where Thrive and the E60-Day Challenge come into play. For 60 days, you're going to be fueling your body with premium grade nutrition in amounts it's likely never had before. This 3-step formula gives your body well over 100 vitamins and minerals, plant extracts, amino acids, enzymes, probiotics, and the list goes on. This system goes to work over the course of 60 days and is designed to fill in those nutritional gaps and deficiencies. As a result of your body having the nutrition it needs, the nutrition it's designed to run on, it starts performing better. Better energy and stamina, digestive performance, managing weight better, improved restfulness, improved discomforts, managing appetite better. It's something you truly have to experience. You know after 60 days, you'll never want to stop thriving, just like you don't want to stop showering or brushing your teeth. Some things in life have too good of a result to stop. The best part is, it's simple, easy, and fun. Step 1, take Thrive Premium Lifestyle Capsules as soon as your feet hit the floor in the morning. Step 2, take Thrive's Premium Lifestyle Mix 20 to 40 minutes later. Step 3, apply patented dermafusion technology, aka wearable nutrition, to clean dry skin. That's it. You're done for the day and ready to thrive. To get started on the challenge, simply pick the challenge pack that's right for you and get going. Mothers, fathers, athletes, nurses, and everyone in between are raving about their results on the Thrive E60-Day Challenge. It was 6:35 and I'm like, what is going on?
I had my friends even like noticing online, they would all message me, what are you doing? You seem so happy. I see the change in you.
I've never felt like this, and how is it possible to feel like this just off of vitamins?
It was that simple. Like who would think it would be that simple?
Little baby steps towards those bigger goals. And Thrive helped me to start taking those steps.
I saw the change in her in those 3 days.
Being able to have that mental clarity and that focus literally every single day.
I was losing weight, and it just felt incredible. Something that I had been trying to do for a very long time.
You can get your Thrive products for free. 2 friends that do the challenge with you can lead to you receiving your Thrive products for free each and every month. Another great thing to note about the challenge is that you can get paid by sharing and promoting the Thrive E60-Day Challenge with others. Those challenge participants that choose to be a promoter can earn cash rewards and bonuses. Simply share the challenge with friends, with people on social media, generate customers, and Thrive Challenge orders, and you'll be compensated for those orders and have the chance to earn incredible bonuses and rewards. However you choose to participate is up to you. Join the challenge as a customer or promote the challenge as a promoter. Either way, let's get you thriving.
Okay. Good. Stop sharing my screen. All right. So Haley will be joining us in a little while, but to get started, what I wanted to share with everyone, first of all, is each of our guests this evening has as at various points in their Thrive experience. Okay. So personally, I began thriving. I was introduced to Thrive by Hayley. She'll be on later, Hayley Zeidman. And oh gosh, I guess I've been thriving just over a year. Spring, March timeframe made a year for me. So I will tell you, and you heard this in the video, once you get started, you're not going to want to stop. And you never want to make the mistake, and both of you can probably attest to this. You never want to make the mistake of letting it lapse, like missing days, because you will feel it. You will notice a difference. At least I did. I did that very recently, and I was like, oh my gosh. Vince came home from a trip. Vince, my husband, is on, and he said, is there any more? Do we have any more capsules left? Do we have any more shakes left? And I was like, oh my gosh, I held off. Anyway, I wasn't managing things the way I should have been managing for my own family. And we were without for several days. So, anyhow, for me, the first thing I noticed was mental clarity and a satiety. I wasn't always running to the cabinet late in the evening looking for things to eat because this premium nutrition was filling gaps and it was giving me the energy that I didn't have. So listen, I could spend a lot of time sharing my story. I know I have before in the group, but right now I want to turn it over to my husband Vince because he is kind of in the infant stages if I had to if I had to categorize it out of the four of us. He's in the infant stages, but is definitely doesn't make it any less of a significant experience for him. So, Vince, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, ask you to unmute yourself, and if you would share how long you've been thriving and the impact that it's had in your life.
Okay. So nice to meet everyone. I have been thriving since about February of this year. So a little bit about my story and how I really obviously I got started through Allison. But part of my story is around the early March timeframe, I had a bit of a health scare. So I went to the doctor did some lab work, and it came back with a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been, active my whole life. I've never had anything like this, and I need to do something about it. What my doctor recommended at that time was she said that I needed to start being a little bit more conscious about my carbohydrate intake and looking for complex carbs instead of just the simple carbs. So that's one thing. The other thing that I started to get really consistent with at that time is the Thrive three-step process of taking the capsules, having the shake in the morning before I go to work, and then putting the patch on. And so yeah, there've really been three things from that little health scare. The first one was the carbs and monitoring those. The second one was doing Thrive. And then the third one was I started to exercise about 30 minutes a day, just going out for a walk and that type of thing. What I can tell you is that since March, since I've been actively doing the Thrive thing, one of the three things has fallen off. It's been the exercise. I don't exercise as much as I did. However, I continue to monitor the carbs. And so I've been much more consistent with what I'm eating, and I've been very consistent with Thrive. And the result, even though I haven't been exercising like I should, has been that I've lost about 17 pounds. I went from a little bit over 200, and right now I'm sitting at 182, 183. Without really trying to lose weight, that was never part of my goal. That was never something I thought, but it's something that just kind of happened from doing these things. And like Allison said, I do notice it when we run out of capsules, and I'm like, oh man, I'm doing a two-step process instead of all three. And so I don't really like that very much, but yeah, I've been consistent, and I'm kind of hooked on it now, and it's part of my morning ritual, and I think it's working. I can't tell you how much of my success has been from the carb piece, how much is from the little bit of exercise I did, and how much is from Thrive. But at least two of those things have stuck, and they're a part of my continuing ritual. And that's pretty much my story.
That's awesome. Yeah, hey, thank you so much, Vince, for sharing that. I think too, the thing that you've expressed at home is the simplicity. And for everybody who is watching, I want you to know that in years past, I can't even remember how many bottles like of Centrum Silver or Centrum or whatever men's vitamins that I've had to toss out because they expired. Like he'd get these vitamins with all these great intentions of taking every single one of them, even like the jumbo, canisters of them, and then they'd be expired because he kind of got out of the routine. But there's something about this experience that it's caused you to stick with it.
Yeah, I think for me it was a bit the health scare. I actually like the shakes, so I think
Mm.
that helps a bit. They taste really good. I like the vanilla. I've had the chocolate, and then recently we tried the apple pie. And all three of those I think are they're awesome. I just do them with water. It's a quick thing that I shake up in the morning. I know you can mix them with other things, but I try to keep it simple. It's the first thing I do in the morning before I do anything else. Oh, I forgot to mention one other thing, and that's that my medication for blood pressure dropped from 20 milligrams to 5 milligrams, also in the same time frame. So there have been a number of positive health effects that are right around this time of making some changes in my life, with Thrive being a pretty solid component of that.
Yep. And of course, we can't make any health claims, but like Vince said, there are three things that he's done, and they've kind of uh, all contributed in some way, shape, or form to where you are now with your health. Before we move on to Carl, in Carl's story, Vince, can you share with everyone how long it took you to start to feel the effects of the three steps?
Right. I think for me it was probably about 5 weeks. And I can remember early on that you would ask me if I felt any different or if I noticed any change. And I couldn't really put my finger on whether I felt anything specific or not early on in the process. But I think over that, maybe at around the 4 to 5 week time frame, then I knew that it was something I wanted to continue to do. And monitoring my numbers and my weight and things that I wasn't even expecting, it was just working. So I liked it, and I decided to stick with it.
Great. Thanks for sharing your story. I'm going to switch over to Carl. So it's really kind of neat because everybody has a different experience of when they or a time frame in which they start to feel and notice, this thrive kicking in, right? Vince said he took 4 to 5 weeks. For me, it took a few weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. For Carl is here with us, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Carl. I think it'll be November, will be 2 years you've been thriving. And you are a day two thriver. Tell us about that.
There, is that better? Uh, but correct, Allison, and hi, Vince, how are you? So I was a day two thriver, and my motivation to come to Thrive was the pandemic. I started working from home because of the pandemic in March of 2020, and by July of 2020, I was in bad shape just from being at home and being in the kitchen too much and getting into bad habits. So I started trying to straighten myself out in July, and I went online and I ordered some supplements. And through the years, I've ordered supplements now and then. I've never been a big supplement guy, but anything I'd ever tried, I couldn't really tell a difference with it or without it. And I came across one of the many Thrive stories online, and it was so genuine and so sincere that I thought this is something I want to try to find out about. So I ordered Thrive, started taking it, and the first day was November the 28th, a Sunday. I'm sorry, it was a Saturday, November 20th, Saturday. And didn't really feel, there was a little something there the first day, but the second day I was full on thriving. And something I think significant about it is I was so full of joy and energy and light. I never stopped to think about how I felt. I wasn't doing any self-examination. I was just going and doing things. My grandson, he and I lived together, Cody, which you may know Cody, had been gone on this was day 2 on a Sunday. He had been gone all day while I was buzzing around the house doing things. He got home about 10 o'clock Sunday night and started observing everything in the house that was different and said, something is different. What's going on? And it was day 2. I didn't, looking back on that, I don't consider myself a thriver or at that time. So I didn't even bring it up. I just said, it's been a good day. But then he left the room and I sat down 10 o'clock Sunday night on day 2. And it dawned on me what was going on. That this is amazing. But we're all different. And so for me, it was day 2, and Vince, you were maybe week 5. And our genetics are complex, and everyone is different. And everybody does have a different experience because malnutrition, the things that we put in our body through default, through the American diet, all have different effects on us. And our road back is all personal, based on who we are. So everybody's is different. But Allison, I appreciate what you were saying. During my first month, I'm thriving along and feeling great and loving it. And I got online and was looking at my Thrive account, and through some faulty reasoning, changed my auto ship date. And I ran out. And I didn't notice too much of a difference on the first 2 days, but on the third day, I remembered what I used to feel like every day. And even though my next shipment was about 2 or 3 days away from being delivered, I went online and ordered another month to always have a backup. I have never run out since in 2 years, and I never will.
And that is good because you did it early on. I made a rookie mistake like 2 weeks ago.
Well, but Thrive truly is one of the best things that I have ever done that I've found out about. And you guys talked about the ease of it. That's one of the beautiful things about it. I have since coming into Thrive. So 6 weeks into thriving, people started noticing changes in me. I wasn't saying anything to anybody, and they started bringing it up to me. Now, there's the proof in the pudding. When people that you associate with look at you and say, you're glowing, you look happy, what are you doing here? It's undeniable at that point, the effect that Thrive has on your human body. And frequently, and maybe this is just in my mind, but when I'm talking to people about these incredible transformations that people have with Thrive, sometimes I feel like I've got to explain to folks there's nothing in Thrive to be concerned about. This is not some wacky, crazy drug stuff. This is all pure, natural, plant-based from United States farms, harvested and produced and manufactured into a scientifically formulated 3-layer delivery system that's that way on purpose, because that's how your body can make the most of it. And these miraculous things that we do are what our bodies were made to do, but we have become accustomed through our lifestyle of expecting less and thinking less was normal, and it's not. And I would just say to anybody who's hearing us, listen to what Vince said. It took him 5 weeks, it took me 2 days. Everybody's different. Make a commitment to yourself that you're gonna thrive right and do it right and try to make the most of it for 60 days, and then decide what you think. It is impossible for you to know what you think about Thrive until you experience it. It's just not possible. Give yourself a break.
Thank you, Carl. Would you share a little bit? I remember hearing you chat with Lisa about the difference between premium and cosmetic
Well,
vitamins or
when
cosmetic grade. Yeah.
yeah. I have a friend of mine who's a thriver, and I were having lunch. This is, oh boy, it's been maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and she was telling me about a friend of hers that her friend and her friend's husband own porta potties that they lease out, and so she said that her
I didn't
friend
know
had
this
told.
part.
I know,
This is good.
but
Keep going.
but her friend had told her that so the way Deanna asked that to me, she said, what do you think is the most common thing they find at the bottom of the porta potties when they clean them out? And I said, probably cell phones. She said, no, it's vitamins, undissolved vitamins.
I
And
didn't know
so,
that.
well, so to your point about premium, and 95% of the vitamins or supplements or nutrients that you find even in the specialty vitamins shops are what are called cosmetic grade. And
Mm.
nutrients are graded, and they're graded based on their two things: how absorbable they are, how available they are to be absorbed in the body, and then how effective they are, efficacy. And so the higher a nutrient is on those things, the higher in the scale they are. So what goes into Thrive is premium quality. The gentleman that founded our company, their founding idea was to be the best in class. We don't want to be on a shelf, price competing, trying to be the cheapest, because when that happens, companies that market that way, that want to have a product that the price will sell it off of a shelf, they have to buy low grade cosmetic nutrients that don't get absorbed, they don't have an effect. There are a lot of fillers in it that don't do anything. And I mean, and again, all of this, all of this talk, all these words are fine for, I think, some people, but the proof's in the pudding. Those people that have taken Centrum Silver, and thanks for saying silver, uh, those people that have taken the store-bought vitamins, have you ever felt it? Have you ever been able to tell the difference when you were taking them and when you were out? You will tell the difference with Thrive. And again, I just want to reassure everybody, it's not a difference to be skittish about. This is how your body was made to feel. You just forgot it. If you remember when you were a kid and you could go from early in the morning till late at night and never run out of energy and never not feel joyful, you're supposed to feel that way still. And with Thrive, you can.
Great points. Listen, that was funny. I did not know about the porta potty story, but that's good information.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good to know.
Well, when you get cheap stuff, you get cheap stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Um, yeah, thank you for explaining that. Is there anything Vince, I'm gonna unmute you, and Haley is gonna be hopping on shortly, but we can just have a conversation about um, anything you all want to chat about or think people should know until Haley comes on.
Well,
Um,
yeah, I would just say it's interesting to me as I guess you guys know a lot more about it than I do and how it works and those things, and that's interesting to hear. Because from my perspective as a consumer of it, as someone who uses it, I just know that it does work. And I can tell you, Carl, when I think back, so I did the GNC vitamins for a while, not that there's anything wrong with them. But I would say, like Allison's right, I was kind of inconsistent. I got on the get them shipped every 3 months, and then they would stack up in the back of the medicine cabinet. And I'm still working on the first bottle, and I got 2 more in the hopper, and then, everything just falls apart. But it really didn't make a difference in my life with that. So with the Thrive, they've been different. Like you do notice, I notice in my experience that I've got a decent amount of energy. I had to monitor some of the numbers like my blood pressure and blood sugar and other things, and those have all trended in the positive direction. and then my weight on top of it. So without trying, I think that's the interesting part to me is I didn't start taking Thrive with the idea that, hey, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm going to try this Thrive out. I didn't even know that that was kind of something that might come along with it. But that has been the effect to where, you know, the next thing you know, you turn around, you hop on the scale and you're like, oh, geez, wow, I've lost 15, 17 pounds over the past 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And feel pretty good. So that's all I had with it.
No, that's good. Thank you.
Hayley?
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. We've got Hayley with us. Hi, Hayley.
Hi.
So,
Thanks for having me.
yeah, glad you can make it. Just want to quickly do a quick introduction. So I was talking about how we're all in a different phase of our thriving experience. And Vince is kind of like in the infant stage, and Carl's a little bit further along, and I'm a little bit further along than well, actually, I'm just behind Carl. And Hayley has been thriving longer than all of us. And she is the one I talked about earlier who introduced me to the Thrive experience. And she has helped well over, gosh, 500 some people get started thriving successfully. So, Hayley, if you could share what you think folks should know, whether it's your story or, yeah, what people need to know about this premium grade nutrition.
Sure. Hi, everybody. So I'm Hayley. I went to West Point at the same time as Allison. And so I'm just going to start by sharing my story and then a little bit about why I love this so much. So I am a wellness coach, and let's see, I had a major health crisis about 15 years ago, which got me on the path to wellness, which then got me into coaching. So I've been coaching for about 8 years. And so I was doing really well, when I started thriving 3.5 years ago, I had a super clean diet. I was exercising, but I had some stressors in my life that really affected me in a very negative way. So I had a death in my extended family. I had a baby at 40, and she was waking me up 5 times a night. And I just found my health declining pretty seriously over the course of about 3 or 4 months. I started just waking up feeling awful, having crippling brain fog. I was in a coaching program at the time. I was unable to do the work because I couldn't focus. And I was packing on the pounds. And so I started to worry about myself. I was looking at my lifestyle, tightening up my lifestyle, trying different supplements, and nothing was working for me. So I was just actively looking for answers, secretly starting to freak out and worry about myself because I've had a health crisis before and I didn't ever want to go there, but it felt like I was just not going to figure it out. And so around that time, I had a friend who had a baby, who had just had a baby. She was 40 pounds overweight, and she started thriving. And within a matter of weeks, all of a sudden she was like, her skin was glowing. She was losing the weight. She was super peppy, and she had been like super low mood before. And I started looking over there like, wow, that's interesting. And then at the same time, she was having all sorts of business success. She earned her auto bonus in 3 weeks. She had a couple of friends earn their auto bonus in a very short amount of time. And so that was kind of gave me a look, but I really wanted to do my diligence and try the product. And I wasn't convinced by her. I was very skeptical. So I just but I couldn't deny that there was a very drastic change in her. So I told her, I said, listen, send me the ingredients and I'll be the judge if your product's already good. So she did. And I was actually super impressed because what I saw in there was everything that needed to happen with my clients in order for them to get better. What am I talking about? I'm talking about gut health, elements to control systemic inflammation, reformatting your gut bacteria, elements to help control your blood sugar. These are all markers. If you can get all those things in check, your inflammation, your blood sugar, your gut health, then you can really make a big change in a person's wellness journey. And they can start to feel significantly better. So that got my attention. I went ahead and tried it. And on the first day, I did have more energy. But on the 8th day, that's what I call my own personal miracle. It was like somebody flipped my brain back on. So the mental clarity lifted. And at the same time, I was smiling for no reason. So I didn't mention this before, but I had some very serious low mood issues going on at the time. So Allison, do you have a question? Sorry.
No, I don't. I was just listening. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Uh,
So I had some very, very serious low mood issues, and I was already down 7 pounds in 8 days. So I was like, wow, okay, this is the real deal. I feel amazing, and I'm going to tell everybody about it. So I went ahead and started sharing. I incorporated it into my wellness coaching, but also just started sharing all my friends that I was tuned into, what they were going through, and I've seen so many amazing results, so many amazing transformations, just people losing 100 pounds, finally getting their blood sugar under control, stories like Vince's, where the markers and everything comes into alignment. People saying, whatever the issue is, aches and pains, head pain. I cannot use any kind of medical terms, but a lot of these chronic conditions are caused by systemic inflammation. Systemic inflammation comes from chronic inflammation in your body. So if you can control that, and then it also comes from damaged gut bacteria. So if you can control that, and then also blood sugar issues. Once those come into alignment, then you can see huge changes. And I have seen it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. And so, my story isn't particularly unique. I mean, most people I work with, the first thing they notice is mental clarity, and who couldn't use more of that? They mostly report, greater energy and, better mood, better motivation. And once that comes into alignment too, if your motivation improves, then what are you able to do? A lot of people get up off the couch, they start walking, they start living their life again. And that just brings you, it brings you up so that you can also have the clarity and the motivation to make other healthy changes. Yeah. And so that's why I love to use it in my coaching, because I can bring them up here, and then we can start saying, okay, what else can you change to bring you up here? And some people just go from down here to up here with just the supplement. But I know that if we want lasting impact as you age, we want to bring you up, get you on that healthy lifestyle. And then you're going to want to make those better choices. People say, I choose the healthier food now because I feel better and I don't have these cravings. The patches actually really help with your satiety. That's not feeling hungry. And I love that because, intermittent fasting is a very healthy thing to do. And so if you cannot feel hungry, then it makes it easier to fast. That helps. It helps with your cellular pruning, making it so that the dead cells get pruned away so that only the healthy cells are there. It definitely helps. Intermittent fasting helps with weight loss. And basically, a lot of people report kind of ravenous hunger, or just eating and not, emotional eating. So if we shut down that hunger, or just really help to control that, especially with the patches, which is what the patches do, then you can make more informed, less emotional choices with your food. And that just puts you on the path to success. And so that you won't eat foods that, don't serve your body well. So, and then on the business side, also earn my auto bonus in 3 weeks, and have helped several other team members do that. And it's been an amazingly rewarding business, but, sorry, my battery, but largely because I get to get up and help people feel dramatically better every single day, and share my story, and just let people know what works for me and so many others. So.
That's great. Thank you so much, Hayley. I appreciate that. I know we're like, yay. Hayley is our team ingredients guru. You can tell she's extremely knowledgeable on all the inner workings and the things going on in the background with this particular system. I'm hoping that we can get our friend, who I know several people they've just dropped all sorts of toxic beverages like Mountain Dews and big gulp sodas because they started thriving. My friend has a stomach that seems to have healed. She's no longer having issues with the gastric issues that she was having before. And I would really, really love, who I'm talking to, who I'm talking about. I really want to have her come on and share with folks. So maybe we can get her on and share how her health has changed. And now she's out like running and walking daily, really. So yeah, thank you. Thank you everyone for being on. I do want to put this in for folks who are watching the recording later. Whoever invited you here, whether it was Carl, if you found out about this through Carl, contact Carl so you can get started with your 60 days worth of thriving. give it a chance, give it a shot. If you learned about it through Vince,